What's up everyone, and welcome back to Top 5 Central. Today we're looking at the top 10 most shocking things found in x-rays. Now I know this is a super random video, but to be totally honest, you really won't believe some of the stuff on this list, so I know you guys are gonna love it. Okay, so before we begin, I just want to say we are so close to reaching 2.7 million subscribers, and that's absolutely mind-blowing. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel to help us reach our goal, but with that said, let's get right into the video. Number 10. So I'm sure you've all heard the saying, hit the nail on the head, right? Well, this guy literally took that to a whole other level because he managed to hit a nail right through his skull. Apparently he was working on a construction site one day when his nail gun backfired on him, but the craziest thing is he didn't even notice. Like, he heard the gun go off but thought the nail missed him, so he just kept working as normal for the next 36 hours. In fact, he only went to the hospital because he woke up sick the next day, and when he saw the x-ray, he thought the doctor was just messing with him. That's, well, a crazy find to say the least.
That incredible story about a man who's very lucky to be alive this morning. What you see there is the nail he accidentally shot into his brain with a nail gun, and here's what's more amazing, he didn't even realize it for 36 hours. ABC's TJ Winnick has the story.
Look at this image. That's a 3.5-inch nail lodged smack dab in the middle of a man's brain. That man is Dante Attulo. Just days ago, Dante was doing construction work when his automatic nail gun recoiled against his skull.
Ripped my head open and then heard the nail go in. I thought it went in and went past my ear, but it obviously went into my brain.
Still not knowing if it actually went in, Dante walked around with a nail in his head for a day and a half.
Continued on with work for the next 4 hours, and then after that I went salting and plowing for 8 hours.
Only after feeling nauseous the next day did he seek medical attention.
I thought he was joking. And I go, "Are you kidding me?" And he goes, "No, man, I'm serious. This is in you."
Number 9. Okay, when you work in the army, you obviously know there's a chance you might get hurt, but I don't think an injury like this one was ever on the soldier's radar. So basically, this guy managed to get a grenade stuck inside his face during a military accident, and not just that, it was actually still live. Now thankfully he survived, but the whole operation to get it out was crazy because it literally could have exploded during the surgery. What actually completely blows my mind is they had to do the operation outside to avoid killing other patients if it did explode, which I think makes those doctors some of the bravest in history.
A soldier is lucky to be alive after a grenade embedded itself in his face. The incident happened in Colombia, and surgeons had to be especially careful with the operation. Leandro Jose Luna was transferred in an 8-hour ambulance ride to Bogota after authorities said they could not risk moving the patient by helicopter due to the risk of the explosive detonating. The chief surgeon dealing with the unusual case said that the team had to improvise and operate outside to minimize impact on the hospital if the grenade exploded. But he said the operation had been a success and that within a few days the soldier could reintegrate into his military unit and his family to make a full recovery.
Number 8. Now normally when it comes to weird stories like this one, you want to know the whole story, but I think this time it's probably better not to think too much about it. I mean, this guy showed up to the hospital saying he had no idea what was causing his stomach pains, but an x-ray made it clear he knew exactly what was going on. Like, not only did he have a wine bottle stuck in his intestine, but he also had a wire stuck in there from when he tried to get it out, which must have been a super awkward thing to explain to a doctor. Now, how he got it up there is the real important question, because according to a Huffington Post article, it was quote-unquote shoved up his bottom, and so yeah, I think that's just about enough internet for me today.
Now remember playing baseball as a kid, when the baseball would get caught in the tree, and then you and your friends would try to get the baseball free by throwing a frisbee at it, and then the frisbee would get caught too? Now imagine that scenario playing out in somebody's colon. You're looking at the x-ray of a man from Fuzhou, China. The man recently went to the hospital complaining about a stomach ache. According to the Daily Mail, the man told doctors he had no idea what the source of the pain might be. Well, after doctors took this x-ray, the man confessed to sticking the bottle in his behind and then, when it got stuck, trying to fish it out with the curved piece of wire.
Number 7. So I think everyone has given themselves a stomachache from eating too much at least once, but what happens when the thing you're eating tons of isn't actually food? Well, this woman showed up to a hospital complaining of a stomachache, and when the doctors ran an x-ray, they found 78 forks and spoons in her stomach, which is enough to make anyone feel just a little bit sick. Now the good news is she was fine after surgery and even got therapy to help with her addiction to eating cutlery, but I just don't know what compels someone to eat a ton of forks and spoons, like come on. Number 6. So wedding proposals are always stressful, but if I'm being honest, out of all the things that could go wrong, this is maybe one of the worst. For some reason, this guy thought the best way to propose was to hide the ring in his girlfriend's milkshake, but it soon turned out that was a terrible idea. Basically, her friends challenged her to a race, and she drank the milkshake as fast as she could, and she somehow managed to drink the ring along with it. Don't worry though, they did get the ring back eventually, but the guy decided to propose with the X-ray instead, which is pretty embarrassing yet hilarious if you ask me.
When it comes to proposing, most guys admit to being just a little bit nervous, but imagine how nervous Reed Harris became after hiding the ring in his girlfriend's milkshake. She ate the entire thing, and at the end, the ring was nowhere to be seen. The X-ray proves he was not joking, because we can, I mean, it's just right there. And Reed, you're right. It is not a little ring. I'm looking at it right here. So delicately handling the next phase of this, you swallowed this on Tuesday, and you finally got the ring
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning. Can you just take it up? Meredith wants to hold it for a second. Can you? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not going to hold it. So, and then you propose. Did you propose before you even got your hands on the ring?
Yes, I did.
With the X-ray?
With the X-ray in hand, yeah.
Everybody told him he had to do it, so in his living room he knelt with the X-ray. And
I don't know how you...
Number 5. Now this story is so ridiculous that I can't actually imagine it happening in real life, but I guess the proof is in the pudding, or well, I guess the X-ray. So yeah, this guy wanted to clean his teeth after a meal, but there were no toothpicks around, so instead of just waiting until he got home or running out to buy some, he cleaned his teeth with a 4-inch pair of nail scissors. Obviously things went wrong, but it's how it happened that's the funniest part, because he accidentally swallowed them when his friend told a super funny joke. Like, how does this stuff happen? I just don't understand it. You know what, right now, go in the comments and tell me the weirdest thing you've ever swallowed, because I can't be the only one who hasn't swallowed 70 forks and a pair of nail scissors. Number 4. So most of these injuries are actually pretty strange, but for this dude, the injury isn't the crazy part, it's the fact that he survived. Like, this dude got stabbed in the head with a kitchen knife, and I don't need to tell you how deadly that is, but doctors managed to operate in time and he was totally okay. Apparently it was all because his friends were smart enough not to take out the knife, and because of that, it never actually touched his brain. Best of all, he was actually saving his friend from a robbery when it happened, so him living to tell the tale is actually a super cool happy ending. Number 3. Now everyone knows babies put everything in their mouths, but there are some things you wouldn't expect to show up in your kid's diaper, and one of those is a wedding ring. So basically this mom couldn't find her wedding ring anywhere, but she knew her baby put it in his mouth sometimes, so they had him x-rayed just in case. Sure enough, the ring was right there in his insides, and the good news was they just had to wait for it to come out naturally. And the not so good news is she probably had to give it a serious clean before she put it on again, but I don't think that's the worst part. Like, am I the only one who thinks it's a horribly bad idea to give a baby a small, easily chokeable metal object to put in its mouth? Like, what even is common sense anymore?
Woman's wedding ring disappeared, and there was only one suspect, a 14-month-old baby. And the X-ray confirms that he swallowed his mom's ring. Parents didn't see it happen, but they had their suspicions because he had put that ring in his mouth before. Doctors told them they had to wait for the ring to come out naturally, and it eventually showed up in the diaper. Wife still plans to wear it after a good cleaning.
Number 2. Okay, so if you guys don't know, I live right on the water, and I go fishing a couple times per season, but this story is enough to put me off fishing again for life. I'm not even joking, the 16-year-old boy was using a spear gun to fish with his friend in the lake, but for some reason it was just pointed in the wrong direction, and I don't really need to tell you what happened next. So yeah, the spear went all the way through his brain, but amazingly it missed every vital part along the way, and the kid was even still awake and talking while they rushed him to the hospital. I mean, it took a 3-hour surgery and a pair of fireman's cutters, but the guy survived, even if he probably won't be going fishing anytime soon.
That stunning story, a teenage boy survives after being struck in the skull with a 3-foot stainless steel spear while he was out fishing with a friend. Unbelievable x-ray that you just saw.
We could feel underneath, it didn't penetrate the skin, but you could feel underneath the skin in the back of his head. So we knew that it went all the way through.
Doctors at Jackson Memorial in Miami showed us what they saw. A spear fired from a gun like this one directly through 16-year-old Yasser Lopez's brain.
Number 1. So you've probably heard the myth that if you eat apple seeds, an apple tree will grow inside of you, but honestly, this is actually pretty close to that in real life. I mean, when doctors operated on this guy's lungs, they were expecting to find a tumor, but what they actually found was way weirder because there was literally a tree growing in this guy's lungs. According to the report, it was about 2 inches long and still growing, which obviously took the doctors seriously by surprise. It's hard to even know what to say about this because that should be completely impossible, but there it was anyway.
Doctors in Russia performing surgery for suspected cancer found something else inside a man. Listen to this story. They spotted a fir tree growing inside a human lung. The tree, measuring nearly 2 inches, was discovered when surgeons opened up a 28-year-old man to remove what they thought was a tumor. Now, no one knows how that tree grew.
And there's a video on the top 10 most shocking things found in X-rays. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe so you see whenever I upload a video. Also, if you're ever on top 5 or top 10 idea, feel free to use your Extremely Handy form in the description to submit it. With that said, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.